So let me ask you, there've been, as I mentioned in the opening, that there have been some experiments done at the World Bank regarding something a little further than I think what you're doing, participatory budgeting, where governments at the city, state, and national levels around the country, around the world, have experimented with setting aside a portion of the budget and having the public vote on it online or offline. They experimented with that, and that whatever the public wanted to do with that little segment of the budget, it actually was required that they spent it that way. Yours is a bit more, as you say, consultation. So short of saying, what the majority say we should do with this particular pot of money, what are you doing in terms of encouraging people to feel that their ideas are being heard, both in terms of the conversation and in ultimately getting it into the budget itself?
Well, certainly I believe when the government started its at Ontario government Twitter site, people were actually really surprised when they got responses to their tweets, because a lot of people didn't really expect responses from the government. But as you know, Alan, social media does let us connect with the people in a way that is certainly more personal.
Right.
When I was saying, when we're out on the road, when we're in person, we get hundreds of official submissions from business people, from organizations, and they bring them up, they give them to the minister. They're sitting in a room while they're giving their presentation. The minister's able to read their presentation, and then if they want to follow up, they can do that later. And by doing that, they're seeing right there that the Minister of Finance and their local MPP are taking an interest, sometimes asking amazing questions back to find out a little bit more about an organization, about a business. And as our minister has said many, many times, a good idea is a good idea. And he wants to get out across the province to hear those ideas. And, it's really interesting. After the formal presentations are over and we are there, a number of people will come up to us and say, wow, how friendly. This is so great. This is so personal. We never expected this. So when we're getting that type of personal face-to-face feedback, that's really when we know that people know that we are listening to them, and we're certainly listening to them, and we want them to know that their ideas are very valuable.
Well, as you know, town halls talking about the budget here in the United States are rarely friendly, so it's a lesson that we could hopefully learn from. One thing I wanted to kind
Alan, can I just jump in? Can I just jump in there for a minute and say why I think they are so friendly? And certainly from being the person who has moderated them all of these years, we set up the rules beforehand. It's a very, very respectful situation. People get about 2.5 to 3 minutes to make their presentation. They can call back some minutes, they can follow up later. And afterwards, they get a chance to maybe chat with the minister. And that's, I think, what makes it so respectful and so good.
So then that opens the big question about scalability. 12 million is a lot of people, but the United States, for example, is 300 million, and Canada has far more people than just the people in Ontario. At what point does your success become becomes prohibitive in that you've got just too many people coming in, and do you have systems set up to allow you to process it? Should you be truly mind-boggling successful in this effort?
Again, right now, Alan, what we're doing, we're seeing what we're getting off the top right now from our Twitter feed, from our Budget 101, the Budget 101 exercises, when people can tell us what they're seeing on our website. If what you're saying is, could this become so big, we might grow with it. I certainly couldn't talk on that. That would be a decision made by certainly other people than me. But what I can say right now is if people make a submission to us, if people write us a tweet, if people send us an email, they will get a response.
Scott Blodgett and Alan Rosenblatt, we got to end it there. Scott Blodgett, of course, interesting stuff that you're doing up in Canada's Ministry of Finance. He's the Media Relations Director. And, of course, Alan Rosenblatt, Dr. Digipole on Twitter, our social media guru. Interesting stuff, as always. We appreciate it. Thank you both so much for being on the program. Coming up, we'll take a break and revisit a couple of things. Twitter's exploding over our interview with Mumia Abu-Jamal. We'll talk about that and a couple more thoughts when Take Action News continues.